Hey guys, so as you probably already know, Hbs3 finished #1 in the world last season, and I thought of a really interesting video idea which I've never done before. And basically, what I'm going to be doing today is watching some of Hbs3's replays here, and I'm actually going to not even watch the whole replays. I'm going to skip through the replays, so I'll leave the link in the description to the full video if you want to see the replays. And then after we watch these replays and I point out what I noticed, like things I wouldn't have realized in playing this giant graveyard deck, I'm going to play the deck live at the end of the video. And I'm going to try to keep this video like relatively short, like shorter than I usually do. So here we go. So what I always like to look at whenever I'm trying to learn a new deck, like for example this deck, which I don't really know how to play, is what are the best starting plays and when do they play their win conditions? And that is what we're going to really look at here. So what I've noticed in all these replays is that Skeleton Army is definitely his favorite starting play. After that, he'd probably cycle a Snowball. Then after that, he'd probably cycle Arrows. And then his third favorite, or his fourth favorite starting play is going to be Bats. Usually he's trying to save those Bats for like DPS or whatever. He doesn't want to split them because they're not just going to get a ton of value by themselves. And I guess occasionally he'll throw a Giant in the back, but usually he's going to Musketeer if he doesn't know what opponent but usually he's going to Musketeer if he doesn't know what deck his opponent has. So right here, he makes a very interesting move, right? He decides to Arrows, and he literally just is like, why would you not defensive Giant? Why would you not play a mini P.E.K.K.A? But he's really trying to save that mini P.E.K.K.A, and he's really trying to save that Giant. I think for offense, that way if PUBG goes golem in the back, he has a really good punish and pressure. And I think that's the thought process that's going through his head there. And notice he's still cycling his Musketeer in the back. He realizes his opponent has golem, so he's never willing to play that Giant. Yeah, and I think there, what he's trying to do is predict a golem at the bridge. And that meant if his opponent played the golem at the bridge, he could just mini P.E.K.K.A right away, and the mini P.E.K.K.A would get value. And worst case scenario, he tower trade. So really interesting that he goes with the Giant in that situation. And here you see again another interesting play. He's still not playing his mini P.E.K.K.A. He's playing that Skarmy, and he lets us surround his tower so that the Dark Prince hits as few of them as possible. So right here is really interesting, right? Because he's a double elixir. Both of them know each other's cycle probably, right? He knows that his opponent knows that he doesn't have Giant in cycle. So probably what he's thinking here is that his opponent's going to golem in the back. So what he does is he goes mini P.E.K.K.A, Graveyard at the bridge, I think kind of as a prediction, and his opponent actually tornadoes it to the King Tower, but it still gets a lot of damage on the tower, so it's not that big of a deal. So again, you see here that PUBG is just making good use of his spells, like kind of in unorthodox ways versus troops that you normally want. So what I'm noticing here is that he doesn't like to go Giant Graveyard versus Golem. It seems like there's only specific matchups where he's going to do that, and like, I think, I'm not even too sure why. I think it's because his King Tower is activated, so like interesting that, he didn't just play a Graveyard there. But it worked out quite well. So you can see here with the King Tower activation, he still is not playing Graveyard right away. Like he's opting to cycle his Musketeers first over his Graveyards. And then he finally gets down that Graveyard, but not after he gets down that Musketeer. And I think that this year actually basically finished off the tower, like basically just spell cycles from this point out. So one thing that I thought was kind of interesting here is that he decides to go with Bats in the back as the first play instead of the Snowball. And I'm not even too sure why he did that, but I think he knew his opponent's deck, and I think he knew that he wanted to save his Snowball for defense versus like the Hog Rider. And this is also another key point. He decides to Giant in the back, opposite lane of the Giant Skeleton. Like, that's one takeaway that I really noticed that HBS always is doing, is he's not Gianting same lane as his opponent. He's always choosing to go opposite lane, and he's always like willing to tower trade. And yeah, I mean, it's really as simple as that. So this is another interesting thing that HPS says. You can see here, he's not even using Graveyards all that much. Like he kind of likes to play single elixir without the Graveyard, like except versus decks where he really needs it, I guess. I mean, I haven't even seen a matchup yet where he needs it. And he goes with the Giant at the bridge and the Skeleton Army at the bridge when he knows that his opponent's at low elixir. So it's like, how many of you guys would have thought the Giant Skeleton Army at the bridge there? But he did it, and he got a lot of damage because of it. So after those key interactions, he Gianted at the bridge to finish off the tower, and he actually ended up 3-crowning him because his opponent gave up. So you can see he uses Arrows as a starting play, and then he's probably just going to, Skarmy the bridge. So what he chooses to do here in this situation is actually super interesting, and I don't know if he plays every Ice Pill match like this, but he definitely played it this time because he knows how the cycle works out. You can see here, he didn't play anything to tank that Expo, and he Skarmies in the opposite lane. It's like, why would you not scar me in, the lane that he's attacking? But he didn't want to give his opponent lock value. He doesn't even mini P.E.K.K.A. He literally just bats and lets it go. And you can see he's already down so much damage. Like, he's done so much damage. But literally, he didn't want to mess up his cycle. He didn't want to get out-cycled. And I guess that was his thought process there. And interesting also that he goes opposite lane because, he doesn't want to go same lane. Because if he takes opposite lane tower, he's going to be up a ton versus the Expo. So you can see here, even with this first push, like, it didn't exactly work out amazing. He made sure to space out all of his ranged troops behind. And I guess his thought process was, I don't want to give my opponent rocket value. He gets down the tornado. And still, he's not in that good of a situation. So again here, he goes giant in the back opposite lane. His opponent was down a little bit of elixir, so he decided it was okay to play that giant. And he still sacrifices damage on his tower, but this time he decides to not let it completely finish off his tower, so he's going in for like one last push to get damage. Otherwise, he's going to lose the game if he doesn't make something happen this push. So you see his opponent tries to tornado him back, but he predicts the tornado. He dual lanes pressures, and this is so important, guys, because so many times I'm seeing him dual lane pressure, like with his skeleton army, and he doesn't spam all in one lane. He doesn't give his opponent that spell value. He always chooses to go with the dual lane pressure. And you can see here, because his opponent, couldn't log everything, there's still skeletons on both sides of the field. He uses snowball arrows to finish off the ice wizard, but still doesn't even finish off the tower at this point. But I'm pretty sure he's just going to reset with like, oh yeah, he literally just plays a graveyard to get damage on the tower because he wants to cycle to his small spells. I think he probably prediction snowballs, he arrows. And he's going to finish off the game just like that. Like, even if his opponent takes his right tower, it's not that big of a deal. Because, he's going to have the advantage in a 2-tower situation. So far this game, he cycled his skeleton army first, then his bats, then his arrows. And he cycled, well, he didn't have arrows on cycle when he cycled the bats. And then he just giants in the back, which I think was a play because he knew his opponent's deck. Otherwise, I don't know if he would have. But also because Musketeer was the only air counter in hand, so I think that's important. I think he tries to keep at least one air counter in hand. And you can see he also spaces out his Musketeer. Like, that's like a crucial tiny point. He's not, clumping up everything to give his opponent splash damage value versus his troops. And you can see just in this push, because his opponent played that Ice Wizard in the opposite lane on accident, he pretty much wins the game off of the first push. And then after that, he just plays a giant in the back. Again, he spaces out his Musketeer well. Graveyards and defense for the rest of the game, and he wins. So it's really interesting to me how he decides to play the start of this game, right? I think he splits his bats first. Yep, he splits his bats, but he was gonna arrows if his opponent didn't play those skeletons. And then he arrows the Firecracker, which I guess that's a pretty obvious play. And at this point, I think he knows his opponent's deck is Royal Giant or Royal Hog, so he decides to just play the Giant in the back. And I think that was the thought process there, because he's like, mini P.E.K.K.A. can defend anything he drops. I got my Skeleton Army, got my Snowball also, so I'm just going to go with the Giant in the back. Defense with the Skeleton Army there, pretty obvious play. But notice here, he's not like going in with the Graveyard. He's always trying to play on the side of caution, even though he's willing to play his Giant, or maybe he's even willing to play his Graveyard. He's not usually playing both of them in single elixir. So here his opponent goes with the Skeleton Dragons in the back, and notice how he goes Giant opposite lane. He's not playing the Giant same lane. He's always, as I said earlier, he's always choosing to go opposite lane. I just thought that's a really key thing to point out there. So at this point, he does decide to go with the Giant Graveyard, even though normally he wouldn't do that. I think he just knew that in this matchup, his opponent doesn't really have good Graveyard answers, so he was completely willing to go with that Graveyard, where in most matchups, he probably went to make that play. Then from this point on, he actually does some pretty obvious defenses, and he actually predicts that his opponent is going to Royal Giant in the back. You can see he actually played his Musketeer high, so it was a prediction play on his part. And but he still defends with the mini P.E.K.K.A., so that was like a really kind of nice prediction. And then he knows here that Giant Graveyard, like, his opponent can't stop the damage. He can't deal with the bats. And that's just a really, like, that's just recognizing his opponent's cycle and recognizing that it's okay to go Giant Graveyard versus deck. So don't, have a very good answer to that Graveyard, and you literally just need the Giant to tank. And at the end here, he just goes, with the good old mini P.E.K.K.A. Skeleton Army, Snowball, Bats combination. and he's able to clutch up that game. So now that we have a pretty good understanding with, you know, how to play the deck, we kind of get down to the basic concepts. Let's try it out live and let's see what we can make happen here. So I think I actually want to musketeer that for sure. Probably if he hadn't made a move, I feel like splitting bats would have been the play there. Especially because I didn't have my giant cycle. So just gonna wait and see what he does here. I don't think I want to play anything until I'm sure. Just play our bats there to like kind of tank for our musketeer. And let's see, what is he? He showed Ice Golem, he showed Electro Wizard. That's kind of not telling us much. Well, there's arrows. I'll probably just go with the Goblin Gang at the bridge next. Or the Skeleton Army at the bridge, I think it's going to be the play. Because we don't know what he has, so probably don't want to play either a Giant or the Mini P.E.K.K.A. You know, until we are sure. So, yeah. I guess I'm fine playing this. Hopefully we're not going to regret using our Mini P.E.K.K.A, but it's really hard to say when we're not sure what our opponent has. I think we're just going to wait for a little bit here. I mean, like, he might have, like, P.E.K.K.A or something, so I feel like it's smarter not to attack here. I feel like that would be the correct decision. Play our Musketeer. We're just trying to figure out if he's going to have a good answer for this Giant if we play it in the back, which I'm not really sure about. I think I'll play my bats in one lane, like... I don't know, man. Just gonna arrows. I maybe could have gone with the Giant at the bridge there. That might have actually been the proper decision. We're actually gonna Giant Kite this. See if he offensive tornadoes. He does. So let's actually do this. This is working out so far. You know, we played really slow because we were assuming that he had a P.E.K.K.A or something, or we weren't really too sure. But he did end up actually having that P.E.K.K.A. Let's see if we can catch him cycling. I think we just go in here, because, like, he won't have enough elixir to defend everything, right? If he P.E.K.K.As, how does he defend the graveyard? You know, so this will be able to do a little bit of damage, which will be nice. And I think I'm actually just gonna offensive arrows, like, literally just for the damage for the cycle purposes. Then we'll play ourselves a Musketeer to finish everything off. And actually, this should be really... No, I need a Snowballer. That's going to be way too much damage. We're just going to go with the Graveyard. Hope he doesn't have enough elixir for everything. I don't think I'll even spam the bats. I'll just let it go, because the Musketeer is going to do a lot of work here for sure. Then again, we're gonna go. Let's see if we can sneak those in. Looks like we can. Mini P.E.K.K.A should finish off there. Have my arrows ready. I think I can just sneak in a Giant Graveyard here and it's gonna do some work. Some good work, some good damage. Let's see here. Oh, you know what we gotta do? Gotta definitely go in like that. Snowball for damage. I should have played my bats earlier, actually. Let's just try to get literally all the damage on the tower we can. We're catching him on low elixir here, which is why that is working out. And there we go. We got the win. So yeah, with this turn play, well, I was going to snowball his tower. But you always wait, like, with beatdown, especially with a deck like this, wait a little bit, and then you can make a play. So he's just cycling stuff in the back. I think I want to wait, but maybe cycle... No, I'll probably just go like that, I guess. Normally you'd be playing it at the bridge, you know, but it looks like he actually is going to have, like, maybe Mega Knight, Inferno Dragon, so we're just going to defend here first, and then I feel like playing Giant is not going to be too great of an idea in this matchup. It's going to be, like, kind of a negative flick trade for us, so we're just going to be cycling our... Oh, no. Actually, it's that. Let's just do this for now, and then we're going to Giant in the back opposite lane. And I think, even though he got a lot of damage on us, like... Hopefully we can do something here, man. I wish I'd played my giant now. I was not expecting those rascals at the bridge. But we should be able to elixir, so let's see. Probably just want to like go in with the graveyard, in with the musketeer because yep, then we got elixir for the arrows. And that's gonna be a lot of damage, right? Like the musketeer is hard for him to deal with. I think it's actually locked into the tower, nice. So if he supports this, we snowball. If not, we just let it go. Even though it's going to be some damage on our tower, it's definitely going to be worth it. So yeah, we had to sacrifice some damage because, you know, he did that prediction. But overall, it's worth it. I think we're going to Skarmy. I think it's fine because, you know, it forces out something else. I'll just set up Giant in the back again. Like, I'm going to take his tower. We might as well try to defend. Unfortunately, I got all those arrows like a tiny bit too slow. Bats get a ton of value here. Like, no questions asked, guys. And we'll be cycled back to our arrows pretty soon. So we're just going to go there and then arrows, all that. And he has to use... Wait, did I miss one? Okay, but we almost took his tower. So this is fine. This is fine. So we got us in a little bit of two-star situation here because, you know, just because of literally that nice prediction he made at the start of the game. I think... Ooh. He's spamming everything, so we gotta spam everything. And then probably want to play the snowball there. Well... As long as he doesn't predict this. Let's try to go in the pocket. And then we gotta hope to defend our tower here. I think we're gonna let that go. High Musketeer, you know. Try to skeleton army to protect everything. Nice, and then I'll giant, but I gotta wait here in case he spams. Looks like he actually does. Unless he might be losing his tower because... Come on. Oh, that was a close game, but we managed to clutch up. I think we go for one more game here to make this video a good length. Probably the only thing I regret in that last match was when he went mortar. I didn't go giant opposite lane. I just decided to go with the musketeer. Which, if I would have played this deck a lot, I probably would have recognized that I didn't have arrows on cycle, and he knew I didn't have arrows on cycle, and that's why I went with those rascals. Whereas if I had the arrows, those rascals would not have worked out that well for him. So here I'm thinking, this is the only arrow counter I got, you know, so we're just gonna cycle that. Probably gonna cycle our arrows here. And then, okay, we got the musketeer next in cycle, so I think I'll just split my bats, or maybe even play them one lane, let's see. Very unusual here. We're gonna try this. Oh. I feel like this is the only play that really makes sense in this situation. And yeah, that's definitely not good for us. Like, not gonna lie, guys, you know. So I think I made a misplay here. I think that in this situation, I should have gone with giants in the opposite lane, actually, and been willing to tower trade. And I think that would have maybe been the better play, but it's hard to say without actually, you know, playing that matchup again, trying to do that move. Not gonna pretend like that was an amazing situation, because it wasn't. Let's see if we can bait out his zap. Wow, that did not go well. Apparently, that was not the play. Apparently. I'm surprised he didn't even zap anything. Okay, well, he has arrows, he has... Yikes. We gotta mute that toxic man. Let's see here. Not gonna make the first play this time. Instead, I'm just gonna wait, you know, because we got off to such terrible start. Trying to play the mini Pekka, so it's gonna be really hard for him to kite it. See, let's try to bait out the zap first. That kind of worked out. And I think we can just sneak in a giant graveyard here. Now that it's double elixir. And he can't. Yep, the minions are going to die the arrow. So we're going to take his tower. We're going to take his tower. We're making a comeback here. And you can see here, he hasn't even, like... I don't think he's even played his win condition yet, has he? So let's see. Probably going to go... You know, let's try this because, like... We're definitely making a comeback here, guys. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to punish him in the middle with, so... I'll probably play, like... Ooh, I almost arrows out, which has been really stupid. Let's see, I might... Wait, what? Oh, that did... Nothing really worked out there the way I was hoping for it to. Not gonna lie. Just being honest with you guys. That's actually what I was hoping was gonna happen there. Let's cycle our bats first, and then we'll cycle that, and then maybe defensive graveyard's actually gonna be the play. Probably. Otherwise, I don't know how we're gonna defend this. Wow, that... That was rough. So we're actually in a really good position here, and I think I actually misclicked this musketeer, and like low-key, I think it kind of ended up costing me the game a little bit, because you can see I would have been playing my bats on the left lane, which would have killed that, and then my musketeer would have been in the right lane, killing this musketeer, and then if I had my musketeer supporting it, I could have, you know, gianted in front of it, and it got down a graveyard, and I would have just basically, the musketeer would have been full health in the right lane, counter pushing, when instead it's in the left lane doing absolutely nothing, and yeah, that was just not good for me. Okay, so Oyasu here, probably just gonna cycle a snowball here. Let's go. Let's go. That is, oh, I guess I just go musketeer. I mean, you never really want to waste your main P.E.K.K.A. You don't really want to waste your bats. And it seems to me like, hopefully that stays alive. Maybe I arrows that, but like, let's wait. Let's not do it right away. So it looks like it just says standard bridge spam variation. Yeah, I wanted to play my skeleton army there because you gotta save the battle run from the mini P.E.K.K.A, right? Because otherwise, you know, if you only have skeleton army, he's just gonna zap away your skeleton army instantly. So you gotta be cognizant of that and like save your mini P.E.K.K.A unless you absolutely have to play it. So I think I'm just gonna go musketeer in the back. And let's see how much elixir we're up. We're up 1, 2. Yeah, so we're just gonna giant graveyard, man, for sure. Doesn't have minions, so like this should work. Doesn't even have fisherman in cycle. Like, how is he gonna stop this? And then we can also potentially bats. There we go with the bats. Let's see if he zaps him away. Now our Skarmy gets value on defense, so that's fine. Wow, that was a really nice start to the game. We can skeleton army this, or we can just snowball it. We'll kind of see what he does. Like, how is he gonna stop that? Okay, he would have had to prediction magic archer, which I don't even know if he had elixir for. So I think I'm actually just gonna take the hit and go musketeer. Let's see, if he's gonna peck on the back, that's a mistake, because yeah, we can just do this. And then probably even, well no, we'll just arrows that. Snowball actually does reach, so we actually managed to finish off the tower also. You can see Giant gets a couple hits on the tower. This will be a nice counter push for him though, so can't argue with that. Hatch sacrifice a little bit of tower damage. Because yeah, otherwise it might be bad. Let's see, I mean at this point, like, we literally just arrows, finish off the tower, and he can't do anything. He cannot do anything. Since he has the zap and cycle, we're just gonna go like that, and already quick, pretty quick and easy games, to be honest with you guys. So that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned, you know, how to play this deck decently from this video. That's kind of the goal of it. But yep, that's gonna be it for today, and Vulkan out. Oh yeah, also, please subscribe.